Right, so I've got a track of my own here, obviously, called All You, doing a bit of a track breakdown on it. I mean, one of the reasons behind doing this track in particular is somebody requested how I created the melody. So I thought, it could be pretty handy to see, any bit of knowledge can be helpful sometimes, can't it? Anyway, one thing I do want to just be clear of is how I approach making music most of the time is I'll get the arrangement together, get all the elements and that in there, most of the automation where necessary, and then when I'm happy I'll save the project and then I'll resave it before I start mixing it. I mean, I most of the time like to separate this part from the mixing. Sometimes I like to come back a different day, when my ears are fresh to the project before mixing it. But, I know a lot of people who mix as they go along and end up with great results. It's just, you just just do what you want, and it really, just give it a go and try some different things. Right, so I'll try and be as descriptive as I can without boring you. And yeah, I'll just crack on now. So, I'll give you a quick sample of the track. See, it's just kind of that deeper sort of vibe. We've got a fat, 808 bass and that in there. Real simple, early hours sort of groove, and that I'd like to refer to it as. But yeah, look, if anyone's got any questions, if I'm not clear on anything, and feel free to drop any questions in the comments and that, and I'll just try and answer them the best I can. So starting off right at the top, here we got kick drum, pretty basic. There, let's hear it in solo. Nothing special at all in the MIDI. There you can see just straight forward to the floor. That groove's there, but the groove it's not affected by groove anyway, because it's just straight on the downbeat, and that's not the groove I was using anyway. So yeah, that's doing that there. One thing I have done using the simpler is here. You can see I've just adjusted the parameters of the decay and the sustain slightly to kind of tighten up the kick drum a bit, I imagine at the time. And a filter, see, I've taken off that top bit off it. I mean, look, that can be really helpful in a lot of tracks, but in this one, if you listen in context, it's more of a deeper track, so just taking that top off made sense at the time. Moving down, we've got pretty standard clap. It's very sort of 909-y, even though it's disguised as some other name and that as well. Little bit of decay drop there, tiny bit on the sustain, and as you can see there, I've opened the release. With this though, what I have done is I've automated the reverb, the center, the reverb here. At this early stage, I mean, when I'm doing the mixing, I do like to use different reverbs, which again I'll show in a different project and that with that. So, but in this one I'm just using Ableton's standard default reverb and delay. One thing I would have done if it wasn't done already was I'd have definitely put the dry and wet up to 100%. Yeah, as you can see that there, it looks like I've just vibed with it as I've gone along and recorded it in and then duplicated it from the look of the similarities. As you can see there, in context, especially down here. Just got that nice tail to it there just before the drop. Right, what we got down here, we've got another clap. Let's hear it in solo. So looking down here, I've taken a lot of the top off here using the frequency, the filter even. Taken away some of the attack, decay, left the sustain. Oh, there's one thing actually that I forgot to mention in the clap, which I noticed the other day. See, I've just give that clap there a little nudge forward. Could have used it for groove purposes, could have used it for transients to stop the kick and the clap hitting at exactly the same time. And then down here, it looks like I've nudged that a little bit more forward. Or have I? I think so. So let's... Yeah, it's just It's just adding summer. It's not hugely noticeable, but it's one of those things you don't really notice it so much when it's in there, but you notice it when it's gone. Yeah. Bit of reverb on it as well there. Again, because I think because there's so much space in the track, I've gone a bit over. Well, yeah, use quite a bit of reverb. So can't even really hear it anyway, can you? 'Cause it's so low. Either way. Right, next up, let me just turn off the automation because it can be a bit too much. Here, use a loop. One thing I have done in here is, well, overall, when using loops, one thing to just keep into consideration, that a lot of producers, when they create loops, are going to apply a groove to it. Now, if you're adding groove to your track as well, you don't want, well, just be aware that sometimes you can get a clash of grooves, and then a clash of grooves, and that really, it's like you've got so many elements in your track and you're like, something feels like it's missing, but nothing's missing. It's just like you got a clash of grooves, because you can have like a kick, a clap and a hi-hat, and the drums can sound like punchy and like kind of like moving and stuff. So if you've got loads of elements, or a lot more elements than those like 3 basic ones, and it still feels like something's lacking, maybe just mute everything off and bring it in one by one, but just be aware of clashing grooves. So what I've done to combat that there is looks like I've just quantized the audio to the 16th. That there. Yep, anything on there? Oh, a little bit of EQing. The FabFilter Pro Q4. If you don't know about the FabFilter Pro Q series, definitely check that stuff out. The dynamic EQing, the sidechain input, loads of stuff. I'm not going to go into detail because it can be boring, and I don't really know how to explain it anyway. I just kind of know how it works and just listen to how it sounds, really. But yeah, definitely check that stuff out if you're not really familiar with it. Yeah, just a bit of dynamic EQing, a bit of a dip, and I've just cut off some low end. As I said previously, this is not really the mixing stage anyway, so anything I'd have done would have been for some sort of creative purpose at the time, to just get it to sit in. Now, the hi-hats, what I've done here is I'm using the drum rack. One thing I tend to do is I change, when you're using a drum rack, it goes automatically to the one shot, but I tend to change it to the classic mode. I just prefer the parameter control down here. As you can see here, you got more of I'd say a bit more of an opener in comparison. No real change down here on that. This one, look, taking all the decay out and dip the sustain a bit. And then on here, did I change the decay? I don't know if that was how it was, but let's have a listen to it on its own. Right, but here in the MIDI, we can see there's a lot of note length going on, a lot of velocity going on as well, and most importantly, groove. I'm a sucker for some groove, man. I got my MPC here. I love the MPC groove. And that's just here. Let's just take it off. See, I like to refer to it as like, it's like the swag of the beat. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh shit! Which one was it on? There we go. See, it's got that. Yep, so that's in there. A little bit of reverb. I'd probably just pushed a lot of stuff to the reverb just to give it that life, because a lot of the time that reverb can kind of, it gives that, fills that space and gives that like life sort of feel, and that really, so then you don't end up overloading it with different loads of sounds and stuff. What we got going on next? We got a loop, and it looks like I've chopped that loop up. Anything going on over there? So, yep, so there's the full loop. And then I've just chopped it up to suit what we've got going on over here. Heat. Ooh. What's this? The heat wave. Let's turn that off. Ooh. Of some form of saturation, something like that, any? Can I hear the difference? Yeah, you sound a little bit thicker, I guess. Yep, right, so what we got going on next, let's come down to here, the crash effects, pretty standard. Let's hear it in solo. So that was just, as you can see there, that was just a longer sample. Yeah, and I just didn't want all of that, I guess. But I have sent it to the delay down here. I might have added an adjustment with the filter, can't really remember. Yep, pretty standard. Now the bass, So as we open up, let's have a listen to it in solo. It's just that old 808 sort of feel and that to it. What I did use for this was the soft tube. The soft tube, and soft tube have been making synthesizers. Boom, like they've got some of the deepest like depth that I've heard personally for software synthesizers. Big fan. I mean, look, it's obviously it's just the replication of the SH-101. You can get loads of them. I mean, they're all going to be like pretty good and that, like, you know, anyway. It's just all about the vibe in it. But I am a big fan of these. I don't know if I'd have done anything to the preset. Probably have give it a little bit more release, but if it sounds good enough, why would you need to? The compressor here, just giving it a basic sidechain just to give it a little bit of a bounce early on. I'd have probably gone in later on and used the track spacer. I'm a big fan of the track spacer. And we've got an overdrive on here, which is actually automated only once to come on. And here, ooh, it looks like I also sent it to the delay as well at the same time. Yeah, let's hear it in context. Yeah, nice. Right, moving down, we've got the chord going on here. Let's have a look. What's that? Pretty basic chord. Is there any automation on it? Nope. Oh, bum. Yeah, just the reverb and the delay, really, what's bringing it to life, isn't it? Yeah, you know, if you take it off, it's just pretty. Boop. Yeah, that just goes all the way through. Now, the melody, this is the one thing I did want to show. So, for this melody here, let's just hear it in solo. And as you can see, let me just close it. I'm going to go on about this in a second. I love this thing. So let's have a listen to what that was on its own. Let me have a look at me. Whoops, it's going to play. Ooh, nice. Really nice sample there. Not sure where it's from. I mean, it's obviously from some sample pack. Really nice that is. Now, what I've then done is, let's just go back to the slice. So I've put it into slice mode. It's, yeah, as you can see, it's just, did I change anything? Oh, look, I changed the sensitivity here. Bit of a fade out and a fade in on it. And it looks like as well, I've dipped the filter. Then this thing, this acid thing, obviously spelt slightly different. Look, there's some really good sequences. If you want to kind of get that old school housey, like sequenced housey sort of feel and that to your tracks, obviously really common with like your 303s, all that sort of stuff. This is definitely worth checking out. The Sting is good. I do know about the Sting. And the Snake, I think it's called the Snake. That's good as well. But out of them all, this is my favourite. I mean, I just like the accessibility it's got here on all like your different parameters that you can change through. Have a little play with that. Yeah, well, as you just probably saw there in the drop-down menu. And then if I just flip around to this screen, let's just delete them. There, look. If you press clip, that then goes up. The MIDI goes up to here, where you can adjust it as you feel fit. Yep, that's cool. And then as you can see, I've just copied or transferred the MIDI over to here. Yep, and that's doing that there. What else we got going on here? The comb filter. That's just a basic filter. I love this kilohertz stuff though. It just does what it says on the tin. No, it just does it. It's like, I want a filter. Boom, job done. Oh, actually, that's a comb filter, Annie. Take that back. No, I've got a filter on here as well. Just giving it some nice effect. I don't know how to explain what it's doing. It just sounded good. Bit of EQing. Yep, just cutting off the top and the bottom. Now, as you can see here, that is the sidechain function. So it's receiving the signal from this chord beat, which is just boom, boom. It's like a heartbeat. Boom, boom. And then what I've then done is come into the settings, like normally that's closed, open it up, receive the signal, and it's just giving it boop, boop, that little thing there. What we got going on here? Filter, boom. Like I said, just does what it says on the tin. It's just nice, man. Oof, love it. And then an echo. Yes, that's going to be automated. Yeah, let's have a listen to the automation. Get the comb filter off. Yeah, this one looks a bit better. As an example. Oof, hear it in context. Oof. Yes, right, so like I just said, I've got a chord beat. I've called it chord beat. Just like a heartbeat, just going all the way through. And that, let's have a look. It looks like it was a Rhodes. Ooh, nice. Right, so put it back. And then what we got going on? Yeah, a bit more. Some basic EQing. Just to keep the flavour as I'm going along. Pad. Oof, oof. Ooh, right, for my pad, what I've used here is my Roland Gaia. I just love it for pads. I mean, if we take this off here, let's take off the processing. And what I've got down here is I always keep a group of any MIDI that I use, especially for external instruments, or even if I just bounce it down to audio. As you can see there, it's a G minor with a couple lower octaves as well. Yeah. Let's close that. Yes. The LFO tool to give it a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of a bounce all the way through the tune. It's just same things as a sidechain really, but I don't know, I'd probably just gone for that. I'd just like the amount of control and the way you can just shape it, and that, I guess. Lead tone, what's that? Let's just turn the automation off a second. Oof, just something before the drop, nothing too extravagant. What we got going on here? Vox, all you ladies. It sounds like all you ladies, but you know, like this, but it's not. Well, I don't know if it is, but it's just a splice sample, isn't it? Let's just take off. Oh, what we got down here? We got the SSL modulate, just a multi-effects unit. All you ladies. Yep, so just got some movement to it. And then what we got here, the kilohertz filter, skaboosh. It just does what it says on the tin. Any automation on there? Nope. Go back and just center some reverb and delay again. Down here, so some. Once we. Again, nothing on there so far. Just sent it to some delay. Let's close these up a bit. And then, where were we? There. And then what we got down here. Whoops. Basically just that in reverse. Let's have a listen to it in context though. Oof. Nice. Looks like another male breath. just they just do the thing, get it? Ooh. We'll just go back. Let's just hear it in context again. Ooh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I like that. What's this down here? Baba. Effects Baba. Check this out. Ba. Yeah, okay, that's what that is. That's why it's called Baba. Echo. It doesn't look like I used one of the presets. It's probably just a standard one, and that there, it just gives it that almost like dubby sort of effect, doesn't it? Context. Ooh, a little drop out from the kick and the drums there. I've also sent it to the delay. Now, down here, I mean, that's pretty much it. What we've got down here now, these are just like effects hits and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to bore you by going through all of them individually. I'll show you a few and that, and that was just a loop that I've just broke up over. I mean, when you've got a tune like this, which is just like that monotonous, get me words out properly, that monotonous sort of groove, I think all these little bits, like, they just kind of keep it interesting. And that really, because it doesn't, you don't want to do too much with it. It doesn't need no mad sounds and mad breakdowns and build-ups and that. You know, so I feel like those are probably a bit more important in something like this than, you know, something that is like, you know what I mean. Coins. What else have we got down here? Let's close that up. Down here, vocal hit. Again, another. Ugh. Right, so down here, what's this? Oh, wrong one. What got going on now? Again, sense of the delay. Ableton's delay just does the job, doesn't it? See, you got all these like layered sort of effects in some form of like sequence. The delay. Oh, there we've got a little bit of an erosion going on. Let's close these other ones. Doom. Yeah, and you can see here actually. You can see what it's doing. Let's turn it off. Oh yeah. Just add that texture to it, hasn't it? Really. What's over here? Another sort of, and then this. Okay, this one's probably worth showing. Now, for that, it's got that really dubby sort of echo. That's just the infamous space echo. I mean, this one. Who's made this one? You see, this is the UAD one. You can see on its way. It's just so. But you can get loads of like different versions of this, like Slate do one, it's great, Arturia do one, this is a UAD one. They're all just as good as each other, really. It's just kind of how you want to go into automating it. See, here I've automated the feedback and the echo rate, so there's your feedback and there's the rate, and let's see what do you... Know what I mean? And in yeah, it's just nice. What we got going on down here? What's that? Oof, just some. What is it? Abstract. That's the word I was trying to find. Abstract percussion. Yeah. Pour liquid. Yes. See, just that little like. Imagine someone tripping out. I can know. What is going on? Plastic wrapper. But you can imagine what that sounds like. Yep. What we got down here, we got a sweep, pretty basic sweep, I imagine. Yep, and then that's layered with a drone. Everything just kind of stops, and obviously we get that little doop, that beep in there. Drone again. Never drone alone. Okay, so down here we've just got some textures. Taking off the bottom end and give it some pan to give it some movement, some static. Oh, okay, what's this one then? Let's have a listen to it. Probably best to turn it down as well, isn't it? That's what it was. Go back to it, and then I've just taken, yeah, just that bit, I guess, and then whacked the Sound Toys effect rack on it, Phase Mistress, to give it a bit of movement, and then Water in Sync, obviously. Can't hear it. Just really low down there, and yeah, bit of a rhythm from the LFO tool, and then some movement using the Phase Mistress and the Pan Man, and I guess that's everything really. Like I said, and do you know what? It's like even though there isn't really a mix on it, it just sounds quite nice. You know, everything sounds just like kind of got its own little place and that going on. Oh man, that 808 bass will just never not sound good. Right, so I mean, what have I done? I think I just normally on the master, look, I just like the Oxford limiter. Just sounds really good. Just this enhanced curve, just give it that vibe, so then I don't feel like, you know, oh, I've got to start mixing it and that early. I don't like to mix too early into the process because, in my opinion, it's a different mind frame mixing and this arrangement bit. And if I personally then start trying to mix the tune before I've got the arrangement, and it's very rare I'll finish the track because I've just gone into a different mentality, and you know, it's just really hard to get that moment back again. And just the old school waves has yeah, you can read PAZ analyzer, spectrum analyzer thing. Just I don't know, just kind of see if I was lacking in any frequencies, I guess. It's all about how it sounds though, isn't it? Right, yes, hopefully if anything on there was helpful, great. If anyone's got any questions and they want me to explain anything any better, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And yeah, man, happy jamming. Thanks for your time.